Today, on the 13th of October 2018, a public conference of the participants of the international public movement «АЛЛАТРА» is being held in Minsk. We invite you to visit this wonderful event.
I'm a participant of АЛЛАТРА International Public Movement, and I'm glad to attend the meeting of like-minded people. As far as I know, it has already taken place for the 4th time. I try to attend every meeting as well. It is very interesting to be here. You can learn a lot of new things, meet friends and find new ones. Share something interesting, your own experience. Actually, it is really great to be here.
When I heard that a conference would be held here, I immediately bought tickets because I wanted to meet my friends, like-minded people. I feel the need to listen to people who share their experience and how they work, and I'm happy.
The international meeting united like-minded people from Belarus, Ukraine, Czech Republic, Russia, Estonia and the USA. The key topic of the conference was the importance of participating in the creative activities of АЛЛАТРА IPM, aimed at bringing people together on the basis of spiritual and moral values. All the projects of АЛЛАТRA IPM were presented at the conference: АЛЛАТРА TV, International Volunteer Television, АЛЛАТRA Global Partnership Agreement, the Fundamental Social Research Project, the Universal Grain, Scientific and Experimental Project, Pyramid. The participants described the essence of the projects and shared practical experience of their implementation, as well as the opportunity and importance of working on themselves.
I believe the projects that are being implemented by the АЛЛАТРА IPM volunteers are really very important and necessary nowadays. This is just an enormous effort of every person. Even though each of us does a small part, all together we do a big project, because really, there is a lot of work to edit videos, to collect information and discuss it with people, to translate text into various languages. It is actually very fascinating. And the value of all this cannot be overestimated, because people are drawn to this truth. The programs with the participation of Igor Mikhailovich, the books by Anastasia Novykh are deeply inspiring. This is just a great work of many people. I want to say many thanks for the fact that people are uniting and not listening to their consciousness. Everybody does this work on his own. And all together we are moving in the same direction.
Each of these projects is interesting. In fact, it does not matter what project you take part in. The main thing is your inner inspiration. What is your inner intention?
Today, I made my inner choice, and I intend to participate in the projects related to translations and do dubbing. Frankly speaking, I have previously participated in spreading the knowledge via social networks, but it was quite a passive way. I would like to be more active. I have made my decision at this meeting.
At the shooting site, everyone could try themselves as journalists of АЛЛАТРА TV, gain independent, practical experience in the filming of television reports. As a part of the Universal Grain project, a conference call was organized. The participants from the USA and the Czech Republic got connected and shared their insights, practical experience related to the study of spiritual sources of various religions and faiths. Each participant of the conference contributed to the atmosphere of unity and creative exchange of information, which is already spreading all over the world with sparks of goodness and love. Could you share your impressions on today's meeting of АЛЛАТRА IPM participants in Minsk?
It is quite interesting. I've discovered a lot of aspects. The guys were sharing their experience of video filming process, dubbing, translations into foreign languages. Different methods were described and how they all work. Everything is quite interesting. And what is the most important, everything is done in a friendly atmosphere, and that is nice.
I learned a lot of new things today. I got so inspired because there were so many people sharing their experience and exposing their consciousness. How not to give in to its tricks. For example, when it says, do not participate in these projects, they will look bad at you, they're going to judge you. It is really just a consciousness, and you just shut it down and move on. The meeting is quite informative. Many people are open to communication, they're joyful. It feels very warm and cozy.
It's a wonderful meeting. I'm really happy to see everyone. There are a lot of participants here. Such questions are being raised that are very necessary for today's society.
It's so joyful to feel the atmosphere of this meeting. And very valuable information and practical advice about many projects is given. And this is very important to me. I learned a lot from what was said at the meeting.
было сказано на этой встрече.
Из всех сегодня освещенных проектов вам захотелось поучаствовать в каком-нибудь проекте, чему-нибудь научиться?
I liked all the projects that were presented, that were discussed.
Какие были представлены, о каких говорили.
But more than anything, I was inspired by the Good News Project.
Добрые новости.
It gives such an understanding of solidarity, of unity,
вот этого единства, объединения, что мы все
that we're all the same,
что мы
we're
все
all people,
люди,
that
что
all of
у
us
нас
have a
у
soul,
всех есть душа.
and that only love
И
can bring
что
us closer
только
to
любовь
God
может
and can help us to come
приблизить
back
нас к
home.
Богу и как бы прийти домой.
When the guys share their experience of participating in projects, it encourages, inspires and leads people to
I
knowledge.
think that today it's important to talk about honesty, about mutual help, about kindness, because we even got such experience when we were interviewing people for the Universal Grain Project. And more than once, people whom we talked to in the street repeatedly agreed that this is something we don't have enough, since our information space is primarily filled with information different from what I'd like to hear, what I'd like to perceive. When we bring in some kind of alternative, when we talk about something good, when we talk about something kind, joyful, bright, it ignites the fire within. Everyone's eyes shine with life. Everyone gets inspired and wants this to go on. This is really great. Good becomes contagious, if we can say it that way. In fact, any creative action begets creation in response as well. There is such a motto. Good begets good, and that is true. I believe that it is our responsibility to fill the information space precisely with the creative content.
My journey to the *ALLATRA movement started precisely with watching the Good News and programs with participation of Igor Mikhailovich Danilov. As many people as possible should know, should have access to this information, those who are striving.
It is a very nice meeting. It feels very warm. There are a lot of people, and very pleasant and friendly atmosphere is felt. It feels that we're all together, that we're all related.
In your opinion, what should a person begin with?
A person should begin with himself. There is no other way. If everyone works on oneself, our society won't have any problems at all. Thus, everyone should start with oneself, and only with oneself.
How important is it to talk about love, kindness, conscience and honor?
It is very important. As I mentioned before, nowadays, information space is filled with negativity to the point. And the more alternatives we see, the more kindness, attention and mutual support we see, examples of all good deeds of people, the more people will open up and increase it in themselves.
When a person works on himself and watches primarily his thoughts, he shows only kindness. When we start talking about something among ourselves and someone wants to say something bad, but you can switch towards something positive and say, there's something good over there. I've heard this. I've seen there what people do. One should switch to kindness, positivity, and bring this love into our world. One should simply see a part of oneself in every human being, as we're all actually parts of the one.
How important is it for people to unite and participate together in different projects? I would say that nowadays I understand not only how important it is, but also that it is as integral part of life in general. We shouldn't be divided, we should always be together. There are no barriers that divide people. They don't exist at all. That is a very valuable insight.
First of all, one should certainly start with oneself. That is to say, we see flaws in others, but none in ourselves. When you start to notice your own flaws, everything around you starts to change. People, situations. This is already acquired experience. When you are on a spiritual path, you see that, if you work on yourself, of course.
What is love for you? What place does love hold in your life?
It has taken a central place recently. Previously, consciousness was erasing this fact, but now it is pretty much everything. It is felt that actions should be carried out precisely in the state of love. Communication with loved ones, work, some kind of activity, even if using consciousness, it should be always done with a great feeling of love and gratitude. When you are in such a state, everything works out much better.
There is something that is between the words. This is a feeling that is somewhere deep inside, but it seeks to come out, and it is embodied in some actions, deeds.
Love is inside of us. The more you feel this love, the more you want to share it. And this source is infinite. It unites all of us, and it gives us great happiness.
True love is, of course, God's love. And true love is the love for God. It is probably the only thing we can give to God. Love and gratitude.
Basically, we're all the same, we're all one, and we all have something in common, and that is our soul, the aspiration to grow, to give something, to bring this kindness, love, and understanding into the world.
Every day I do try to cultivate this state of love inside of me, to look at the world with love and learn to see it in people around me, in nature. Love is what gives life. This is what fills with life. This is the foundation of the whole world.
Love is when you give, when you don't expect anything in return, when you love everything unconditionally, when there is no separation on basis of anything. You just love and feel unity. You feel that you love everything. True love is love for God. Today we also talked about it, and the last program with Igor Mikhailovich Danilov has resonated with me the most. That we are dual, and we have the most true thing inside of us, true love, true life that you can learn, and direct all of this towards service.
I feel joy and love. This is such an interesting state. When there are no strangers, I feel unity with all people, at least with the ones here at this moment.
Love is everything. It is the most important thing in a person's life. Even if you have all the earthly treasures of the world, all the power, it's nothing in comparison to when you're alive, when there is love inside of you, and when you love others and do not seek profit or benefit from them. When you really want to help, you understand that this person is just like you, and his soul and personality are beautiful, and that he is a future angel. And when you approach everything like this, the world around you begins to transform. You can even see it in those things that you never paid attention to before. And then you notice how everything is harmoniously built by God. In other words, how much love is in each atom of this universe, how it breathes with love. Hello, dear friends. A new day is a chance for everyone, a chance to be a human and carry light into this world, the light that comes from the soul. We are happy to share with you the good news that more and more people feel the necessity to unite in spirit and, overcoming the imposed patterns from consciousness, bring true knowledge to the world. After all, if the spark of God's love really lights up in you, you cannot help but share it. It becomes a need to carry the light on into the world, the light that makes us alive. And today, we want to tell you about the presentations of the books by Anastasia Novych, which took place in Maldives and Kyrgyzstan.
24 июня состоялась презентация книг Анастасии Новых на Адду-Атолле, остров Холуду, Мальдивы, которые провела участница мода «АЛЛАТРА» Виктория. Были рассмотрены книги из серии «Сенсей», где рассказано об истории одной школьницы, ее встречи с легендарной личностью сенсеем. Также было рассказано о мото «АЛЛАТРА», что объединяет всех людей доброй воли, какие проекты реализуются людьми, которые живут душой и действуют по совести. Представлены 7 основ «АЛЛАТРА» как руководство для достижения взаимопонимания в рабочих коллективах, для построения бизнеса на духовно-нравственной основе, так и для достижения духовного самосовершенствования каждого человека. В тему объединения людей был просмотрен ролик «World Without Borders Maldives». В ролике говорилось о душе, о единении, что несмотря в какой стране ты живешь, самое главное остается неизменным. И люди на это откликнулись и подтверждали то, что Бог един, и все изначально стремятся к любви.
Even our parents also saying that one piece of stick, give each and every one and try to break it. Can break easy. Give 2 pieces together, difficult. 3 pieces together, cannot already. And how about 100 pieces? Cannot destroy.
It's not impossible.
Impossible.
Yeah.
So that's why people have to come together.
Example which you bring now, it's I know it's from my childhood, but Maldives is very far from my home country. But you know what I mean. That
yes,
we know same things.
Same thing.
Yeah,
See?
same
So this
thing.
is everywhere for each and every country. The same examples, the same will be there.
True is same for all people. Yeah.
True is the same for all.
Yeah.
So that proves we all the same.
Yeah.
No difference.
No difference.
Вся информация очень вдохновила участников презентации, и поэтому организаторы не собираются останавливаться. В дальнейшем они планируют презентацию книги «АЛЛАТРА», ведь шанс дан всему человечеству, и очень важно, чтобы эти знания узнали все.
A similar event took place in Kyrgyzstan, where Matter, an active participant of АЛЛАТРА IPM, held a presentation of the books by Anastasia Novych during the Unity Festival.
From the book АЛЛАТРА. The deepest feelings are exactly the special language that differs from the human one.
Если сердце твое открыто и помыслы чисты, дух безупречен.
When your deeds, coming from feelings for the sake of the truth, outnumber words said for the sake of the ego, coming from your mind, then you will perceive the single seed of truth.
There is only one true happiness here: to be firmly united with God and live by His will. I am not looking for temporary well-being, because I am thankful for what I have, for what has been given to me in life by God.
The work on oneself manifests first and foremost through sincerity and through honesty, and all this is happening in self-restraint, meaning that not anyone else, but first of all you, need it yourself.
In order to join the spiritual world, you should stay on the side of the spiritual world and become a spirit yourself.
Everything good starts first of all from the purity of your own thoughts.
Здравствуйте! В эфире «Добрые новости». На сегодняшний день у людей из различных уголков мира возникло искреннее стремление поделиться исконными знаниями и присоединиться к процессу перевода и озвучивания книг Анастасии Новых на разные языки мира.
V dávných posvátných tradicích různých národů světa se rovněž uvádí, že
Soudný den pro lidstvo, to není jen jeden den.
And real spiritual transformation of man himself.
Для человека важно помнить, что стремление казаться не означает быть.
Самая величайшая победа – это победа над самим собой.
Частіше творити благі справи, жити по совісті.
And with the sincerity of a child, I trust God.
Spiritual practice is performed by the deepest feelings.
Во время своих ежедневных прогулок я обязательно беру с собой передачи АЛЛАТРА радио и слушаю. АЛЛАТРА радио очень хорошо помогает оставаться на волне, оставаться самим собой.
I really enjoy the songs on АЛЛАТРА radio.
It really feels, well, you just have to try it. I don't think you can describe it.
This is an opportunity to open your inner light.
This is a voicing from the heart. It is an investment of love in what we do, with joy, with a sincere desire to help other people come to knowledge. It is openness to work together, to learn something new, to share knowledge.
Participation in this project helps an individual work on yourself, because joint and collective work helps to better see some flaws in yourself and to eliminate them.
It is very, very helpful internally. It reveals and helps to learn to interact with the guys and to be one team.
There are many different directions, stages in this project, such as reading, video editing, selection of music, mixing, dubbing, and much more. All this is presented on the website and the Google Drive of АЛЛАТРА Radio.
A lot of letters from people of goodwill, with voiced parables and quotations from the books by Anastasia Novych come on the email of АЛЛАТРА Radio. In these letters, people sincerely share how the inspiring recording process helps them to feel deeper and reveal the meaning of the knowledge set out in the books by Anastasia Novych. We invite to join this creative and unifying process everyone who has a sincere desire to help people come into contact with the true knowledge in the name of goodness, love and unity throughout the world.
Созидай и объединяй. Созидай и объединяй.
On September 29th, the traditional annual All-Ukrainian Festival of National Cultures Friendship was held in the city of Nikolaev, Ukraine. Performance groups of national societies from different regions of Ukraine, talented amateur and professional teams of Nikolaev took part in the festival. АЛЛАТРА TV volunteers, together with all the participants at the festival, discussed what unites all cultures and people.
Only one thing unites us: desire to live in peace and good neighborhood.
Faith in one God, Islam, is a pure religion that teaches sincerity and love. All the prophets taught only good.
Islam says that the main thing is friendship.
Что все культуры объединяет дружба, то есть дружба народов. Все создано для того, чтобы люди дружили.
Уважение к
Mutual respect is what
это то,
unites
что
us.
нас всех объединяет. Мы должны уважать прежде всего и принимать друг друга.
Happiness to the world and good.
If friendship flourishes between nations, and people themselves contribute to this, then the process of uniting the entire world community will begin.
Thanks to the initiative of the participants of the ALLATRA International Public Movement, people from many countries of the world and in different cities created the newspaper Good is Where You Are, which they distribute completely free of charge in order to spread primordial knowledge in society to help people find inner happiness, love and joy. Today, the participants of the АЛЛАТРA movement gathered together to discuss this newspaper. I'd like to quote, "What information prevails in the media today is what the society becomes tomorrow."
I really like that these newspapers show examples of people's unification, that people really did something good, they united, brought good deeds into the world. This is an example to follow. We can unite and be like one family.
It seems to me that in today's world, when we are so immersed in negative information from TV, news, tabloid magazines, or similar sources, there is an alternative where positive things are popularized. A human understands the fact that he is the creator of his own future, and that's what this newspaper talks about. It has passages from the books by Anastasia Novik, which are about this.
Newspaper is a good reason to open books. In other words, if a person is interested in this information, he will find the literature, the origin, where everything began, the source of the information.
In The Seed of Knowledge, the American newspaper, I liked a very interesting idea the guys came up with and made such an infographic with the АЛЛАТРA sign in different civilizations and cultures, and the calendar. That is, you can remove the middle section and hang this calendar on the wall. It's a very interesting idea. In Ukraine, we can make a newspaper just like this, both calendar and infographics. It will be very interesting.
Toto sú ukrajinské noviny. Je zaujímavé to, že sú iné, ako normálne, ako bežné. Lebo tie ostatné sa príliš zapadajú do celkového, do bežných novín. A toto je iné. Je tam symbol a je tam informácia. Toto smeruje priamo, hovorí o čom je ten. Možno, že to je inšpirácia pre tie ostatné. Dať niečo také navrh. Človek pozrie a vidí, že to je iné. Druhé, inakšie. Tieto sú najlepšie.
The pictures are very well chosen, and everywhere, in every picture, you can see the signs of Allat and АЛЛАТРА. During Trypillian period, people truly knew the primordial knowledge.
When you read it, you feel this kindness and love that each person contributes to this newspaper. And it makes one very happy, it inspires and fills one.
I like the fact that there are articles about history. For example, let's look at Atlantis elite in search of immortality. The article is about a real history that not everyone knows, that there had been other civilizations, how they had lived and where they had gone.
Tu bola zaujímavá tá informácia, ktorú vravel kolega o tej Atlantíde. Preto ja tento časopis som nevedel, že existuje. Nevedel som, že je tu, prvýkrát som ho tu videl, že je v češtine napísaný. Tu je taká esencia toho v podstate. Preto to považujem za dobrú vec.
Yes, there are direct references here to what interests everyone, what one should do with his life.
It's interesting that these newspapers are made by people who are working on themselves, who are growing spiritually.
In the next issue, we can add a passage from the program Freedom from Beast's Dictatorship Within Yourself about the control of thoughts. because Igor Mikhailovich in very simple and clear words tells about this. And every person will understand this. It is very simple. It would be very nice to add this article into the next issue.
It is also written here about who the *ALLATRA journalists are. It says that anyone who popularizes positive events, which are happening everywhere, can become a journalist. In other words, virtually anyone who understands the essence can be a journalist.
The universal grain is a very good topic that has been raised. This is a global project and it is described in every issue. It makes you think about what unites us. The newspaper is very diversified because historical facts are included here, as well as our realities. Global climate change is also included. What is happening in our world, why it is happening, and what should we do in this situation right now.
To people for whom this ideology is still new, it is very valuable that there are references and fragments of books and programs in the newspaper, and everyone has the opportunity to choose.
It is also very interesting that all newspapers are written, created, published in different languages, in different countries, but each of them carries some kind of an influence of their local area. In some places, news of a particular city are published, or, as an example, the book's presentations.
Actually, many people want to do something for society, but they don't know how, and this newspaper gives a person an opportunity to understand how to do it. That is, when you read it, you fill up with what people who created these newspapers transmitted and see the way how to do it.
I was surprised that the people who did it, in fact, they're not professionals, and some of them were doing the layout or something like that for the first time. But it's all done very simply, easy and pleasant to the eye.
Good job.
Very good job. A newspaper gives a very warm feeling. In fact, when we saw it for the first time, and we saw it on Facebook, someone just put a picture, a photo of the newspaper. And we were lit up by this idea of a newspaper very much, and we decided to print it for our city, to distribute it. And here is the first batch.
The guys responded because it was necessary to collect a certain circulation. We collected even more than we thought, almost 8,000 copies to be able to print it, and the newspapers spread all over Ukraine.
I have also gained valuable experience how consciousness tried to dissuade me when I was distributing newspaper. I left the house and thought, I'm not going to take the newspapers with me, and then came back and took 10 newspapers, thinking, I'm gonna go. I went to school to pick up my child. On my way there, met a neighbor, and I said, here, take it, you can read it, this is a good newspaper. And Miss Olga said, is the truth written in it? I said, yes, the truth. Then I went to school, also gave it, or as an example, the book's presentations. I saw that everyone took the newspapers with a smile. Then I passed through the market, went to the girls from whom I buy cheese products, foodstuffs, and they also gladly took the newspaper. They looked at the inscription, and everyone loved it. That's the experience I had.
And I had an experience. I drove these newspapers to the grocery stores, put up as for distribution, and heard very positive, warm reviews because people were really interested. They read it, they liked it very much and asked me to bring more. It is very inspiring that people give such feedback, and I want to continue working and participating in this project.
We will distribute these newspapers and place them in public places. Many people will find these newspapers, and many will get a chance to read them.
We will present the books by Anastasia Novych in Fastov. We printed the Good is Where You Are newspaper so that everyone who comes to the presentation could learn and already read the newspaper, get acquainted with the knowledge. You can also bring newspapers to any library, so that readers can take this newspaper home and read it absolutely for free. Even if we don't hold presentations, just go to any library and offer. I think that no one will refuse.
It would be even more interesting to me to participate in the creation of this newspaper, even in order to speed up the process, for it to come out on a more regular basis, and then we could give new information to people more often.
The more of us will participate, the more new issues will be published. I also watched the episode of Good News, where they told about this newspaper, how they created it, that it is very easy to learn how to do this, and everyone who has a desire and a need can do it. So I also had a desire to join the creation of a new release of this newspaper. Even in my region, in our city, it would be interesting. It would be really wonderful if there was such a newspaper in every city.
In general, the newspaper is full of examples of some good deeds, and it stimulates you to get up and do something good also. Let it be the newspaper. If you don't know how to make a newspaper, do something else. Help those who know how to do it, and so on.
I would also like to join in. I'm a new participant, and I want to be involved too. I feel that I have an affinity for doing layouts, putting something together. Maybe I can translate something, help in some way.
I think there is enough work for everyone.
Although consciousness always opposes, when we came to the coordination center for the first time, we couldn't get together for a long time. And the first thing that consciousness said, there are a lot of people who are engaged in all this, and they all already know everything. We will come and we will only interfere, we will be superfluous, that's not necessary. And when we all overcame the consciousness and came, we really understood that everyone is open, and they will teach us and show and tell us everything. And everyone is nice. It's so joyful when you do it, and you don't need anything in return. It really fills you with love and joy when you really do something just as it is.
I would like to express my gratitude to people who do it, who are inspiring, and become inspired themselves, and continue to do for others, to give this little piece of warmth, love and happiness. Great gratitude. Of course, I would like to encourage other people to join this project.
Ja mám tak nastavenie, že svet by mal byť lepší a mali by sme preto niečo robiť a nikdy ma nenapadlo takouto formou. A to, že to niekoho napadlo a to realizuje priamo, tak to oceňujem.
И хочу поблагодарить также и мир духовный, ради него и все и объединились, чтобы вернуться домой, в свою семью.
I wanted to say, guys, don't be afraid to act. It's all so simple. Don't listen to your consciousness.
Indeed, when you just do something selflessly, while participating in any project of the АЛЛАТРА international public movement, then you are filled with this love, joy. Don't be afraid to join. Don't be afraid to try new directions. It is really very easy and simple. Thank you.
The knowledge given in the programs with the participation of Igor Mikhailovich Danilov not only answers many vital questions, but also generates a wave of more conscious research and studying of human nature and the world as a whole. From self-observation to observation of your environment and the study of different fields of science. The program Invisible World, with the participation of Igor Mikhailovich Danilov, which answers many questions about the invisible world, about the essence of events and unexplored phenomena, their causes and consequences, valuable practical advice, as well as what to do and how to protect yourself from otherworldly interference, was interesting and relevant for many people. In this regard, АЛЛАТРА TV released a new news cycle, The Invisible World Special Correspondent. The series The Invisible World Special Correspondent covers news from the field of unexplained paranormal phenomena, as well as the current events, and the society gets informed about the manifestations of the invisible world. It shows eyewitnesses' experience and gives the experts' comments, as well as the comments of experts are given, as well as practical recommendations on how to protect yourself from the aggressive interference of entities from the invisible world.